All right. Can you hear me now?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Just mute. All right. So, as-salah, as I mentioned. Okay, so the first one, salah, zakah, sawm, hajj. We'll drop the jihad for now. That one requires maybe a detailed class, which I don't want to do here. All right, so let's start with the first. Whenever you talk about salah, there are certain things you have to take into consideration. First one, shurut. Second one is arkan. Third one is wajibat, sunan, mubahat, makruhat, mubtalat, anwa'u salah, types of salah. Jum'ah is the types of salah. Salatul kushuf, salatul khushuf. All of these are types of salah. Al-khata fi salah is basically the errors or the mistakes that you make in the salah. This book, by the way, it's obviously, this is our translation. It's not an official translation. It's done by a Sheikh from Medina. His name is Amir Bahjat. If you guys like Arabic, I would recommend listening to his video. So the first thing we start is shurut. Okay. Conditions, wajibat, I think I should. Okay. I think I have to drop the slides. Okay. So when it comes to shurut of salah, you have shurut for the musalli itself, i.e. your individual, and then you have shurut for the salah. So every individual, there's a certain shurut. Al-Islam, the second one, al-aql, al-bulugh, bulugh is obviously puberty, adam al-hayd and nifas, not being in your cycle, or postpartum for the women. Now, this is for an individual. You cannot ask a Muslim, if a non-Muslim prays, it's not valid because the shurut itself that he has to be a Muslim. So if somebody prays, no problem, but he's not going to get reward because the condition is al-Islam. The first thing that someone has to meet is the shahada. If he does not have the shahada, his prayer is obviously not accepted. Aql, he should be of somebody of senses. Bulugh, why do they say this? Rufi al-qalam and the pen is lifted on certain people. One is the as-sabi hatta yahtalim, a young person until he reaches puberty. So anybody less than, until puberty is when it becomes an obligation. 7, you will tell him to pray. 10 is when you'll actually, I don't want to say it especially if it's recorded, but let's say Islamically, you can hit your son not on the face, but you can, at this point of time, this is when prayer is going to be stressed. He will be sinful if he doesn't pray once he hits puberty. The hadith itself is very clear. Now the other one is tahara, your purification. Dukhulul waqt, for this is for the prayer itself. You should be in a state of purity, both your clothes and your body. Dukhulul waqt, the time has to enter. Satrul awra, istiqbal al-qibla. So any of the fara'id, you have to face the qibla. Satrul awra, I want to just mention very, very clearly, and I'll mention a wide spectrum of opinions because whenever people pray Salatul Eid, they always come and ask me, why do these people not wear the socks? So I will just cover a spectrum of opinion when it comes to awra. So when it comes to awra, you have a concept of awra for the salah and awra outside of the salah. So the Hanbalis are the most strictest when it comes to this. Inside the salah, other than the hand and the face, everything is awra. Except the Hanafis, they will exclude the feet. Did you guys hear it? So except for the Hanafis, all the other madhahib take the position that everything is awra except the hand and the face. The Hanafis will add the feet basically. So why? Now this, when it comes to outside of the salah, let's say if she's a niqabi, inside the salah, she usually exposes her face. This is inside the salah. Now outside, the Hanbalis are the most strictest. The Malikis and Shafis are similar, i.e. they have a belief, obviously this is based off the hadith, but they recommend it, obviously the position they follow is even the hand is in awra, the face is in awra. That's why if you go to Saudi Arabia today, you'll find plenty of women with gloves and they have covered their face also. This is the mu'tamad of the fiqh position. So I'll mention this. Anything that you see on the slide here, mu'tamad is the relied opinion of Imam Ahmad. There is something, this book, that I'm sure, I don't know if you guys attended Dr. Hatim's class. Dr. Hatim, when he taught this book, Umdat al-Fiqh, it is not the opinion of Imam Ahmad. It is called al-Riwayah Thaniya, the second opinion of the madhab. That is, this is the opinion of Imam Ibn Qudama, where he differed from Imam Ahmad in some 125 positions. So even within the madhab, you have ikhtilaf. That's why we say the mu'tamad, and then we have riwayah thaniya, the second relied upon opinion, and then you have all the other scholars within the madhab itself. Sometimes they took different position. The most common one I usually like to mention is the position of Ibn Taymiyyah when it comes to divorce. In fact, he took a position that even if you say 3 times, it is still counted as one. In fact, he was jailed for this position. So, there is ikhtilaf within the madhab itself. There's something called mu'tamad, and there's something called riwayah thaniya, and every madhab will typically have this. So it's not like everybody in the madhab only stuck to one opinion. It is more like there's something called mu'tamad, the relied opinion, and you have other opinions who branched out. And this may even happen to you. The more you study, the more you start focusing on, is the hadith da'if, is the hadith sahih? That's when you'll start changing your opinions. But for now, we're sticking only to the relied opinion of Imam Ahmad. Okay. دخول الوقت. Obviously, إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. Every prayer will have a prescribed time. There is a start time, there's an end time. Satr al-Awra we already covered. We spoke about Tahara. Istiqbal al-Qibla. They're very, very strict when it comes to faraid. Okay, one thing I want to mention, if you're on a plane, sometimes especially if you've flown Qatar Airways, they literally tell you, sit down and pray. It's on your screen that tells you cannot stand and pray. So, saqat عند العجز, i.e., the obligation is dropped, or the shurut is dropped when you're not able to fulfill the condition. So you will not fight with the air hostess, or you'll not fight with the saying that no, I have to pray, if you do not have an option